Hello readers, I'm Amy and I'm your nonfiction feminist, bringing you my winter book unhaul. So most of these are going to be classics. I'll explain more in the following video clips. I like to do my unhauls as kind of a vlog because rather than just letting however many books pile up and take up a bunch of space in my library, I just shoot the unhauls as I'm unhauling them and then compile them together into a video. I hope you enjoy this. Don't be too angry with me at the books that I am unhauling, and here we go. Alright, dropping in really quick. I just got off of my shift at work. Now I have a dentist appointment, which the nice thing about that is that I'll be too tired to care. But really quick, I have two books that I'm going to drop off at the library after my dentist appointment. That is I Am Malala. This one was way more of a history than a memoir, and I honestly was really bored by it. That's disappointing. I was really hoping that I would enjoy this. But again, if you're selling someone a memoir and it ends up just being a history, they're very different genres. Also, dropping off my copy of Yes, Please. This does seem like it's a really cool book. It's just more of something that I would have read in high school. At this point, a lot of the kind of life lessons that she has, I feel like I already know this, I've already experienced it, so not the book for me. But anyways, those are the two drop-offs I have. Here is Amadeus saying hello and goodbye, I guess. Alright, see you in the next clip. Hey, so I have been eyeing my classics shelves lately. I have two shelves on the bottom of my big bookshelf wall here, and I have, sorry, that was a cat toy, if you hear that squeaking. And I have my full shelf in front of me of all classics. And of all of the classics that I have, I've only ever read maybe a quarter of them. A couple of them are Chris's. I feel like classics are just something I buy. Like, oh, that's famous, I should read it sometime. Or this will make my bookshelf look really, really nice. And ultimately, I've decided I need the space for more books in the future. A lot of these I'm never going to read. I should give them to people who will love them more. So I have these two copies of Jane Austen. This whole pile here is going to one of my friends. And these copies I was really excited about because they match the copy of Pride and Prejudice that I grew up with on my mom's shelf. I can link in the corner the focus. Up in the corner I can link my video on destroying books with love. Because her copy of Pride and Prejudice, like, it just completely fell apart. I read it so much. Should probably turn so the lighting's better. So yeah, there's Persuasion and Lady Susan, and then there's Pride and Prejudice. I'm also giving her this edition of Emma that I have, because she was really interested in Jane Austen books. And I have this little copy of Sense and Sensibility. Then we have Sleepy Hollow and Other Writings. In this whole chunker of like almost 500 pages, 29 of them make up the legend of Sleepy Hollow. All the rest are like newspaper type stories that I wasn't super interested in the one time I tried to read it. Then we have The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. This is from a buddy read that a subscriber and I attempted to do. We both made it about 100 pages in and just, it wasn't interesting. Nothing was happening. I think that The Woman in White was better. And then we have the complete Sherlock Holmes. So I read some of these from my public library growing up, or I read most of them really before I got sick and tired of reading the same author. And I got them because it's like, oh, it's Sherlock. This is going to be awesome on my shelves, and maybe I'll read it again someday. And I've had these for almost 2 years, and they have not been read. So, passing them on. That is it for that friend. I've got a pile here of classics that I'm willing to give up, and then I'm going to see which of my close friends would like to take them on. So if one of my other friends decides to take some of these, then I will film another part of this unhaul. Hey everyone, I've had another friend take me up on the offer of classic books that I am willing to get rid of. So we have here The World's Best Fairy Tales. This is a really pretty looking hardcover that I picked up from the Friends of the Library, but I also just have to admit at this point that as much as I love fairy tales, I really just don't take the time to read them because I think, oh, it's just a little short story. I'll totally get around to reading that at some point. But even though they're just a bunch of short little fairy tale stories, I keep putting it off because I keep thinking, oh, I can speed through those later. And admittedly, I am probably never going to read this book, even though it's gorgeous. So that is going to friend number 2. We have Fyodor Dostoevsky's The Eternal Husband and Other Stories. This was my attempt at trying to read more short stories. The writing was good from the little bit that I read of it, but it's got like a lot that he's trying to get across in the stories, and I think I just am not going to have the patience to read it anytime soon. So if necessary, I can just borrow it back from my friend, but I don't know that I'm ever going to get around to it. I am hanging on to The Idiot because I always thought that the synopsis for The Idiot looked really good, so I am going to try and read that, but also short stories are something that I struggle with, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. Then we have Lord of the Flies. This is an old copy that I got from one of my psychology teachers, and he went ahead and let me keep it. I had never read the book before, even just before graduating from college. I'd never read it. My school didn't have me read it. It was for the AP class or something. I got maybe a quarter of the way into it and put it down. I hated it. I hated what the boys were doing to each other, and I couldn't stand it. So that's it for my history with that book. And I thought about it, and as much as I adore Dracula, I just don't need this many copies of it, even though I really like them. I have like 5 or 6 copies of this book. I'm not going to run out of copies to read. I have other books that I want to put on my shelves instead, so saying goodbye to this copy. That is it for now, but I'm sure there are more to come. I will see you in the next clip. And that is it for my unhauled winter books. I hope you all enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe, be my friend on social media. You can also be my enemy, too, if you hate the books that I unhauled. I post every Wednesday, Sunday, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.